Okie dokie boys and girls, it is day 356 of bulking to 75 kilos with calisthenics only, and today we have another pulling day. Now, when it comes to training, I like to train in an intuitive approach, and today I'll explain why that is, because when it comes to the training split itself, it's determined, right? I do a push, pull, and then quadriceps and hamstring days. Maybe I'll explain more about my workout split in a future video, but when it comes to the training itself, I don't plan what I want to do weeks or even days in advance, I just have this kind of general idea of where I want to head. For example, on yesterday's push-up workout, I know that I want to head in the direction of 10 sets of 100 reps, so I trained for it, right? But it's not determined in stone. Today as well, I know that I would like to have a long front lever hold, so I just make sure that every now and then I get a good stimulus for the front lever hold. But again, there is not really a plan, there is just intuition. And the reason I do this is because, well, when you are able to train intuitively, you are becoming adaptive, right? You are able to adapt to any situation, right? For me, I have a job, and oftentimes some things come up in my life and I have less energy to train than what I would like to, or vice versa, something happens and suddenly I have a lot of energy and I want to just go balls to the wall, right? It happens, right? You can't predict how you're going to feel on the day of your training months in advance. And that's what really, for me, is the drawback of programs. For example, yesterday, I was doing my workout for the sets of 100 push-ups. And, if I were to have done it with a program, I would never have guessed oh, in that training, I'm going to be able to do 12 reps more than the last time. No, I would have just had some random guess. But yesterday, because I didn't have a plan, I was just able to go to my limit and find out how much progress I was able to make. And so by being adaptive, or by being able to adapt to any situation, by not setting standards for yourself, but rather having just a general direction, you will be able to stay consistent way more easily. Because if you have a program, you put your time into it, you have 3 months planned out, and then suddenly on week number 2 something happens and you can't follow it, well, you're going to be discouraged, and now you have to scramble to basically get back on track. And I think people often get discouraged from that. I would get discouraged from that. I have gotten discouraged from that in the past, and that's why I stopped using programs. So how can you become more intuitive in your training? Well, basically, intuitive training is a skill just like anything else. So for example, the front lever, the more you train the front lever, the better you become at it. The more you train intuitively, the better you become at it. And the easiest version of training intuitively is training every day. Because when you fuck up, you have immediate feedback, right? Or you have feedback the following day. If you do too much, you will know the following day. If you do too less, well, you know the following day. Holy shit, I have so much energy. Did I even do anything yesterday, right? So by training every day, every block of feedback is exactly 1 day long, compared to when you're training 3 times a week. Every block of feedback is 2 to 3 days, right? So the easiest way to basically learn how to train intuitively, in my opinion, is to train daily. Of course, you can train less as well, and you will find out eventually, right, how to train it. But for me, training daily, really allowed me to train intuitively and get to know my body. So anyway, today is a pull day. I'll do a quick warm-up set first. All right. Not feeling too bad today. And there's a spider. Holy shit. I was expecting to feel worse today, but surprise, surprise. So anyway, today's workout is going to be straight arm work. I'm going to work or train for the front lever hold. So lots of holds, lots of presses, lots of raises and stuff like that. I'm going to start with a bit of a longer hold set. And then do one set, maybe 30 seconds, maybe 35, just until I feel the burn, but not until my absolute max. Basically, until the form starts breaking down, or just before it. When I feel the form is about to break down, that's when I'll stop. I'm not putting a number on how much I want to get, because I don't know how much I can get. That's intuitive training. Rather, I'm going by how intense I want to make this set. And basically, I'm guessing hey, if I do this intensity, I'll still be able to recover tomorrow. But that's going to be the first set, and then I'll do 4 or 5 extra sets, a certain time frame, maybe 25-second sets, where I try to do front lever sets, and then in between I'll do some presses and some raises, basically some random stuff until I get 25 seconds per set. But yeah, let's go. Let's remove the spider first though. Okay, so that's it for the front lever workout, and now I'm moving on to some pull-ups. And when it comes to determining how much I do in a workout, there is two things I consider. The first one being, will I be able to recover until next pull day, or I guess until the next workout of the same kind, because if I do the push workout, I'll be thinking about, can I recover until the next push workout? If I do the leg day, I'll be thinking about, can I recover until the next leg day? Today is a pull workout, so I'm considering 4 days in advance when I do a pull day again. Will I be able to recover from that? And in this case, even if I did some more front lever, I would be able to recover. But there is also something else I take into consideration, which is, will this workout have an effect on tomorrow's workout? And sometimes, one workout is regarded more important than the other. So for me, tomorrow I am testing a 1 rep max on the pistol squat. It's an extremely important workout for me, so I don't want it to be influenced by the workouts I'm doing the days prior. So even though, I could do a little bit more front lever, I could go a little bit harder in today's workout, I feel like the general fatigue in my body would affect tomorrow's workout. So that's why I'm cutting it kind of short today. And so those are the two things I consider, right? You have to think about tomorrow's workout, and you have to think about the next workout of the same kind. So if you're doing pull, think about the next pull workout, and so forth, But yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. But anyway, I feel like there is room for a little bit of dessert. So I'm gonna do some accessories, or I guess it's not really an accessory because I don't do it in function of the front lever. It's more something like a fun set. It's some dessert, right? And well, dessert you do if you have the room left, right? And I have some room left right now. So 1 set of pull-ups. I'm gonna aim for 30 pull-ups. Nothing too crazy. So, by doing high reps, it's lightweight. Basically, I won't be putting too much fatigue on my system, but I am gonna add a little bit of weight. Last time I did 30 reps with 5 kilos. Was kind of easy, so today, let's just see what happens with 10 kilos. Okay, so that's it for today's training. 30 pull-ups, nothing too heavy, so I'll be able to recover properly for tomorrow. Now, when it comes to intuitive training, the most important concept that you should master is basically your recovery baseline, or the concept of your recovery baseline. You should know where your recovery baseline is at. And by recovery baseline, I basically mean the effort level at which you can train continuously, right? And consistently for basically forever, right? So oftentimes I get the question like, how often do I deload? Basically, in ideal situations, I only deload when I want to taper for something. So for tomorrow, for example, I am tapering into the 1 rep max PR for my pistol squat because I want to be extra recovered. But when it comes to day-to-day training, if you have to deload for that, it's basically a sign that you've been overdoing it. It's a sign that you've been going over your recovery baseline, because if you were to be at your baseline, you wouldn't ever need a deload. It's the baseline where you're still able to recover but also making the most gains. And so it's really just a fine line of trying to find that effort level for you where you're not slacking off, you're not doing too little, but also you're not doing too much, because if you're doing too much, you'll be surpassing that recovery baseline and you'll be able to do it or continue for a while, but then you'll just get this sudden crash, your body telling you that you should stop. In an ideal situation, that doesn't happen. In an ideal situation, you don't need to deload. And if you can master the art of basically staying consistent at that recovery baseline, right, at that effort level, you're gonna see tons of gains. But yeah, that's it for today's training. Very happy with how it went, although it was a short one. I had some fun, and basically, yeah, that's it. I'm gonna head downstairs and have some breakfast, and then I'll see you tomorrow for the big day. 60 kilos on the pistol squat. Let's see how that goes.